back again. How are you? Russ Gibb, jumping up and down. And my guest today, Mr. Gerald DeGrazia. I call him the Director of Telecommunications for the city of Dearborn. He's the man in Dearborn, in the city government, that keeps tab of those folks down here at Group W to see whether they're doing their job correctly, and also represents the Telecommunications Commission. We'll be talking to Mr. DeGrazia a little bit about his job with the city and what's going on with cable television here in Dearborn, Michigan. I must tell you, he's an interesting guy. I've known him. I had him as a student, believe it or not. He was just a boy back at Maples, born and bred here, and the proud father of a year and a half, no, how old was it? 2, Christopher. Nicholas. I'm gonna get a little mixed up. Nicholas, 2 years old, and his wife, Mary, is a school teacher. And so a person that knows Dearborn, and of course, the DeGrazia family, everybody in Dearborn knows Joe DeGrazia, who has sold cars in this town since I can remember, and is probably still one of their top salesmen over there at Prestige Cadillac, Mr. Joe DeGrazia, plus a nice guy. So anyway, we'll be talking to Jerry a little bit about telecommunications here in Dearborn. What have I been jumping up and down about this week? Well, I guess it's mosquitoes. That's right. They You know, it's great to have a crew that figures out what you're going to talk about. And evidently B, better known as B. Harrison, was out helping a neighbor move some furniture the other night. And, of course, B was dressed in his normal, what do you call those, shorts? Bermudas. Now, you don't call them Bermudas, do you? Is that what the kids call them today, Bermudas? All right, Bermudas. And proceeded to get chewed up alive by those skeeters. Now, the skeeters really attacked him, and he came in this morning scratching all over. I said he had herpes, and he denied it. He said, no, those are mosquito bites. And he said, why do they attack me? Why me? Well, B, I gotta tell you, I have the same problem. Certain people are sweet meat to mosquitoes. I happen to be one of those people, too. I can be outside at a picnic, and there can be 1,000 people there. But if there's a mosquito within 10 miles, they zoom in and they land on me and they feed on me. And one time, B, and I'm not kidding you, one time I actually looked up a book, a medical encyclopedia, under mosquito bites. And I found out a couple things. First, evidently the male mosquito doesn't bite you. It's only the lady mosquito that's interested in you. And they are attracted to certain colors. For instance, if you have blue on, they like blue. They also are attracted by heat that comes out of your body. And evidently your chemistry, your metabolism, attracts mosquitoes. If you have a high metabolism where you are burning up a lot of energy, evidently they zoom in on that. They have heat sensors. They're sort of like the YAWAC or AWAC or whatever they call it, with heat sensors to come in at you. And also odors. They're deep into odors. So I one time thought to myself, well, if they're odors, if I will shower frequently in hot weather, if I'm going to be outside, they won't bother me. Then I read another book, B, and you know what it is? They also like the scent of soap. So they'll come in on that. So the best way to get them out is to wear an old dirty t-shirt and get a lot of sweat on it, and maybe they'll just ignore you and go to that sweet-smelling young thing you have on your side out there behind your house in the woods there, B, and maybe they'll bite her for a while and leave you alone. Moral of the story is, don't go out when the mosquitoes are biting. How's that, B? Did that answer your question? You feel better about that? Oh, one other thing. You want to know how to cure them. Well, you take a little X and you make a little X when they bite you. You know, you get a little mosquito bite, and you make a little... Can you get a close-up there? Can we get a close-up of that? See if I can... You push in real hard, so you get a little X there, and then you put another one in there. You got a little X, and the reason you do that is supposedly it puts the poison and spreads it around in the system, and they won't keep you, won't annoy you that long. And of course, if all else fails, you scratch them. Just sort of scratch them and get them big, and then you can make little faces in them when the little bumps appear. Make little smiley things at you. Calcimine lotion is good, I'm told. And what else? Oh, if you take meat tenderizer, you know that stuff that you buy to make the meat tender, you take a little bit of that and you put a little bit of paste in there, water, and you put those on it, and that'll break down the whatever. And the moral of that story is buy some screens. It's a lot less trouble. Stay away from mosquitoes. Well, enough of this nonsense. Let's get on with my guest today, Mr. Jerry DeGrazia. But first, I've got to pay some bills, so we'll be right back with Mr. Jerry DeGrazia talking about telecommunications here in the city of Dearborn, Michigan. Hang in there, will you?
I see you're worried. I got you 4 down.
Not the golf.
Not the golf.
I wish I knew what to do about retirement. I need help.
Do what I did, Mike. Talk to IDS.
IDS?
My IDS representative and you can set up a financial plan to help you reach all of your goals, including retirement.
An IDS financial plan. Excellent idea.
Stress is affecting everyone today. Headaches, neck aches, and lower back pains are easily treatable with chiropractic care. At America's Chiropractic Family Care Clinic in Dearborn, you get the best in chiropractic treatment. Established in 1947, America's has been helping sick people get well in Dearborn and the surrounding area with incredible success. Good health is the highest priority, and America's now accepts insurance plans to accommodate all your needs. Call for more information. America's can help you achieve better health.
Meet the Tylers. As soon as they sell their house, a new life begins for them. Trouble is, they didn't list their house with Earl Keim Realty, so it's taking just a little longer than they hoped to get it sold. We could have helped the Tylers, but the Tylers like doing things the hard way. Earl Keim Realty makes selling houses easy. We're not saying they'll ever sell without us. It's only a question of when. Call Earl Keim Realty.
Campbell's Paint and Wallpaper has been providing quality decorating products and ideas since 1948. Come into Campbell's at decorating time and make your task into pleasure. Campbell's has Dearborn's nicest selection of wall covering, and most papers are available within 48 hours. Campbell's has a complete line of quality paints available in oil and latex and can recommend the right product to make the job easier. Campbell's also does custom picture framing. Experienced framers do all the work on the premises. Stop into Campbell's today, and remember, Campbell's paints always match.
Dr. Salama, I'm so uncomfortable with my foot problems. I can't ignore them anymore. What can you do to help me?
Foot problems are very common. Did you know that 98 out of 100 people are born with normal feet? But by adulthood, most suffer from foot disorders. It's also a fact that many whole body diseases, such as diabetes and gout, are commonly first detected in the foot. Many of the more common problems that may occur are ingrown toenails, bunions, corns, and calluses, arthritic conditions of the foot and ankle, or even fractures due to trauma or sport-related injuries. Many of these problems can be treated conservatively or surgically right here in a comfortable office environment.
Do you accept medical insurance?
Yes, I participate with most major health insurance plans like Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Medicare, John Hancock, and the like.
For information on a free initial consultation, call Dr. Salama at 274-0990.
Back again, Russ Gibb jumping up and down with my guest today, Mr. Jerry DeGrazia. Jerry, you look like a movie star.
A movie star?
Yeah, a movie star.
I wish. I wish.
You wish? Come on, come on. Your wife said you're a good-looking guy.
I hope so.
Said, except when you've been up all night at a commission meeting. Said that then you come in a little tired, a little bedraggled.
Very often lately.
What do you do as is it the television coordinator?
Telecommunications coordinator.
What is a communications coordinator in the city of Dearborn?
Telecommunications coordinator has...
Outside of something that some of our council people probably think are frivolous.
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't do much. Basically, I execute the contract on a daily basis with Group W. I make sure that they live up to their commitments in the contract, and also, probably more importantly, that the city lives up to its commitments, because it's a two-sided affair. That takes up the majority of my time. However, I also work as a staff coordinator for the commission, prepare their agendas, do all the backup material. I also act as a liaison between the city and the public at large with respect to cable television.
In other words, if I have a complaint about Group W cable, and I call down here and I think I'm getting a runaround, can I call your office?
Yeah, sure, that's the next step. We have a real formal I think, an effective complaint procedure, that if you are not satisfied by Group W, what you do is you give my office a call, then I usually run the interference, get back to Tom Sherrard, general manager,
Here,
and we
okay.
solve the problem. And I think the majority of cases, that's been very effective. It's worked out well.
Do you think Group W really tries to solve the problem?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. We, you know, sometimes not as quick as the person or I would like to see it, but majority of time, I think problems are, you know, attended to very quickly, and we've been very successful for the most part.
Now, the regulatory agency is the commission, then?
The commission, I guess, could be considered regulatory, right?
Now, that's appointed by the mayor?
Appointed by Mayor O'Reilly and approved by the City Council.
Okay.
We have 9 commissioners. They serve staggered 3-year terms, and they represent, I think, a real good cross-section of the community.
Who are some of the people on the commission? Can we?
Well, our chairman right now is Tony Russo, who is an administrator.
Now, not the band Tony.
Yeah, Tony always gets confused with
I do
Tony
too.
Russo. Now, Tony Russo is a secondary administrator in the Dearborn Public Schools.
Okay.
Tony, a very sharp, very dedicated person. Our vice chairman right now is Pete Vermullen.
Okay, a long line, a man who's been in city government for many
years.
many
years. We have Gretchen Ackerman, who works for the Dearborn Press and Guide.
Writer.
A writer.
Okay.
A writer.
Now, all those folks you're mentioning are, well, I'd say at least middle-aged. Do we have any young people?
We have Susan Hubbard. Susan Hubbard is...
of the Hubbard family?
She is the granddaughter of Orville Hubbard and a daughter of John J. Hubbard.
Okay.
Susan is a student at Wayne State University.
Oh, well, that's good. So that's a young person.
And she also works part-time for the federal government in Detroit.
So you do have a cross-section.
I think we have a good cross-section.
You were mentioning King. Isn't she a teacher?
Donna King's an elementary school teacher.
Oh, an elementary school
in
teacher.
Dearborn. And she brings us, I think, that the elementary viewpoint and how cable can, reach the elementary
Do we have any
school.
broadcasters? Anybody that comes from television or radio?
Bob Beignet. Bob Beignet is a...
from the Detroit News?
Well, he works for WDIV, I think,
no.
actually Post-Newsweek. Bob works for Post-Newsweek.
Not the Bob Beignet I know. Bob Beignet, are you talking about the man that... he used to work for WWJ. He's with the Detroit News television and radio thing.
Well, he is a business manager right now for the parent company of WDIV.
No, WDIV is owned by the Post Newsweek, and that's not who owns the Detroit News.
Okay.
Well, I thought you'd... Well, no, I want to help you out. I'm a citizen.
Bob is going to get both of us after this.
Yeah, I don't think he works at Detroit for WDIV. I think it's WWJ.
Well,
they own. See, when they bought, they split it apart.
We'll have to talk to Bob after this, and we'll make a phone.
I'm going to invite him on the show. We'll find out where Bob.
He'll probably have my head after this.
Because I went to school with Bob.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know that.
He's a fourth.
Bob's a very close friend of the DeGrazia family for a long time.
You're kidding? And you don't know where the guy works? Well, the Common Council will have fun with that. See, the guy's not doing his job. Well, listen, it's very confusing because I thought that he worked for the Post Newsweek too. And the reason I'm so positive, so adamant on this, is that I at one time said to him, I said, well, how do you like working for Graham, who is the president?
Right.
He said, I don't work. I work for Peter Kaiser, who is with the Detroit News. And they own television stations.
Very interesting. I've learned something new today. Right?
Well, that's the Gibb show for you at Random. We just toss these
Always
things
educational.
out. Oh, I know. Jerry, what's the biggest complaint that people have about cable television in this town?
The largest complaint?
The one that you hear them the most often.
I think the largest complaint we receive on a regular basis is someone feels that the quality of their picture that they're receiving is not up to par. And I think one of the largest misconceptions about cable television is that it's going to bring everyone perfect pictures 24 hours a day.
Well, they sort of sell it that way, though.
They do. They do.
I mean, Group W salespeople, when they came to my house, they were saying, well, you're going to get better reception. In fact, I saw that in an ad.
You do get better reception. You do get better reception. I think one of the main, thrusts of our department are to ensure people that the pictures that they are receiving via the cable are better than they could receive off-air without cable service.
I got to tell you, I work for Group W, but in the same token, as a citizen, I also live here. And there are times that Channel 2 does not come in as clear. There seems to be some kind of interference on Channel 2.
Yeah, we have a problem with Channel 2.
What is it?
The problem with Channel 2 is it has a very strong broadcast signal.
Over-the-air signal.
Over-the-air signal. And we also have channel 2 placed on the converter on the cable system at the same frequency.
That's the little box.
Exactly.
So that's where they wanted it, though.
Exactly. That's where channel 2 wants it, because obviously they have a vested interest
in people thinking
in
too.
channel 2.
Right.
And channel 4 and channel 7 requested the same thing. And so did channel 9. Basically what happens is that if you have any type of a loose fitting or a leak in the system where the strong broadcast signal from the off-air can bleed into the cable, what happens?
Acts like an antenna.
Exactly.
So you get two signals.
You have two signals coming in, and they tend to interfere with one another, and they show up in terms
like
of
diagonal
lines. It's called a beat.
Oh, is that what it's called? A beat?
A beat.
You know, rockers probably
That's right.
invented that.
That's right. So that's our biggest problem.
And that's a technical problem.
It's a technical problem.
Is it Group W's fault?
Not totally. It's Group W's responsibility to make sure that the system is tight. In other words,
leaks
we have no loose connections. Normally, if a person does have that problem, Group W will dispatch a person out to the home. What they do is they tighten all the fittings at the converter, at the pole, at the tap, and then they go back down the line to the next amplifier and make sure that the connections are tight. If that doesn't solve the problem, then they take some other action. But usually that solves the problem. If you have a loose connection and any signal bleeds in at all, you're going to get those diagonal
Even
lines.
if I take my box off at home and I don't tighten that thing properly, could I cause that problem?
You could cause that at home if you don't tighten it properly, right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, that's about the only complaint that I have. Every once in a while, I'll tell you what I like about it. I happen to live in the flight path of the airplanes. And when I had my antenna, in the evening when they were all landing, the picture, I don't get that with cable.
No, that's one of the largest things that people cite as a benefit of cable is non-interference from ham radio operators or from airplanes and things such as that.
What about the changes of channels? A friend of mine at breakfast today really said, how come they're taking Chicago off? Did you guys approve that?
We, the commission, I shouldn't say we, the commission approved that. Basically, we felt that after looking at the cable system for about a year and a half now, we felt that there was really more that could be done to improve the basic service. The commission...
Basic services...
The basic service are the 47 channels that you receive for $6.95 per month.
In other words, the economy package.
Exactly, the non-paid channels, the non-premium channels. The commission, and we have people like Bob Beignet, who has a lot of experience in programming, they took a look at the package and they said, you know, we're not really offering people what they should be receiving. In other words, we need some more satellite services. We would like to maybe combine some of our text or access channels.
Yeah, there's too many text channels for just stuff that keeps repeating over and over.
One of the things that we had hoped was that we
That's
could...
my opinion.
We could
we could
develop programming quicker for the local access. I think what we're finding in Dearborn produces probably more access programming than any other community around.
I was talking to Nadine, who was in charge of the Cranbrook Institute video, and she was talking about her experience with Continental Cable. And she said to me, she said that she felt that there was more local interest in production here in Dearborn because of Group W than there is in Southfield. And she definitely said she felt that's the company's doing a good job here.
Well, I think the original commission knew that going in we'd have a large interest. Group W has been good in helping to promote it, but still we're not producing enough local programming to fill those channels.
Right.
So what we thought we would try to do, and the commission said, well, let's take a look at adding some more satellite services. Some of the more popular ones now that we didn't have, such as MTV.
Kids love it.
Yeah, Cable Health Network, Satellite News Channel.
I like the satellite. That's on 3 now.
It's on 3. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Hard-hitting news, and people like that.
So that's why you took these other off?
And that's why. Well, then, that's why we decided to take a look at...
The commission decided.
The commission decided to take a look at the whole package. They instructed me to work with Group W to provide some alternatives. Tom Sherrard and I worked together, brought to the commission a package. In the meantime, what happened is that the Copyright Tribunal in Washington, which collects and distributes all the copyright fees in the country, decided that, probably at the behest of the broadcast industry and some...
And the cable industry.
And cable industry, and some independent producers, that they were going to adjust the copyright schedule for the superstations, which are, in our case, WGN, WOR, and WTBS. Basically, what that resulted in is a situation where the Dearborn system would be assessed approximately $60,000 per year for carrying 3 superstations as opposed to 2.
I thought they got them free.
No, not at all. No, not at all. And that's a popular misconception. Group W, the Dearborn franchise, must pay to the Copyright Tribunal for each of the superstations. They must pay copyright fees.
Of about 60 grand?
Well, it amounts to really about 60 grand for 2 stations. But if you were to carry a third one, the third one comes in at another 60 grand. So we felt that that was prohibitive. Group W came to us and said, would you possibly mind taking a look at deleting one of the super stations and adding some additional services?
Well, if they had kept that service and they had to pay another 60,000, would they have the right to pass that on to their consumers?
Not immediately. Not immediately.
But
No,
someday...
We do have a rate freeze in Dearborn until about August of 1985. But somewhere down the line, I'm sure, as any good business would do, they're going to try to recoup that cost. Sure. The commission felt that it was not in the best interest of the average subscriber to have to bear that additional cost. So a survey was made by Group W. The commission did its own little survey. They watched each of the channels and made a decision in coordination with Group W, to drop WGN. In actuality, either one you drop, WGN or WOR, there's going to be hard feelings.
Yeah, because you get attached to certain things, or if you happen to be from New York or Chicago,
exactly.
you want to say, well, I like that.
I had a lady call the other day, and she says, you know, for the first time ever, the Cubs are in 3rd place. And now you're dropping the Chicago station. Right, and it's unfortunate, but in the long run, it'll probably be best for the subscribers. In terms of rates. In terms of rates. The commission has a commitment to offer quality programming, but at the same time, they made a promise to subscribers is to try to keep rates down. And that's one of the things they're trying to do.
So it's a trade-off many times
it's a trade-off.
on these things. What about future services? Will there be anything coming up, do you think?
There are several things that the commission's looking at. Obviously, pay-per-view is an interesting concept that the commission is interested in. When I mean pay-per-view, it would be special events viewed on a one-time basis.
Like a fight?
Like a fight or a concert.
And you just put the money and pay extra for that one particular show.
You tell Group W that you want to see the special event, and they assess you a one-time charge. That's interesting. The commission's also interested in the new pay networks, sports networks. Group W has announced that they are forming a sports network to include Detroit and Chicago. University of Michigan, Don Canham is talking about forming a cable net to bring U of M
So you
sports.
guys would probably try, the commission would try and...
The commission, once again, is representative of the city, and what they hear from the people in Dearborn is, hey, look, we're interested in U of M sports, or we're interested in Detroit Tiger.
So it's a changing thing as times change.
It changes, and so that's why the commission really, in the franchise, they have the authority to reallocate channel usage or change the services that we offer on the basic tier. And as that goes on, I think the commission will be looking at that on a continuing basis.
Well, any good technology changes with time.
Sure.
The original commission was wise to put that in because that allows change to take place, which is really a requirement. It'd be terrible to think that you had the same thing when cable started and you know, 20 years down the pike, we're still doing the same thing. One other question, quick. How does the city feel about people that are stealing services?
We're upset, and the reason we're upset is...
You lose money.
We lose money, obviously. We lose money in the effect that we receive a franchise fee from Group W based on their gross revenues. Obviously, if people are pirating services, their gross revenues are falling, and we're also hurt. But maybe more importantly is that by pirating services, they in effect are driving up the cost of running the system. And in the long run, it may reflect in higher subscriber rates for everyone.
And the city gives that money back to citizens for programming anyway.
We have a programming grant foundation that we are working with. We have allocated $40,000 for grants this year.
Plus, your salary would come out of that too.
My salary also.
So it's not coming out of the taxpayers,
so please,
really.
you're taking my salary away when you're pirating services.
Listen, I don't envy your job because I'm sure the commission thinks you're on the payroll of Group W, and I'm sure that Group W thinks you're on the payroll of the city some other way.
I'm a thorn in their side.
You get both of it, don't you?
I enjoy it, though. It's a good job.
You're a bright guy. You're an articulate man. And I wish you all the luck in the world. And
Russ,
you keep hanging in there for the citizens.
Thank you.
And if I'm doing something wrong, you come down and nail me, will you?
I will do that.
Russ Gibb, Mr. Gerald DeGrazia, and look, I'll be back right after these announcements.
Stress is affecting everyone today. Headaches, neck aches, and lower back pains are easily treatable with chiropractic care. At America's Chiropractic Family Care Clinic in Dearborn, you get the best in chiropractic treatment. Established in 1947, America's has been helping sick people get well in Dearborn and the surrounding area with incredible success. Good health is the highest priority, and America's now accepts insurance plans to accommodate all your needs. Call for more information. Americas can help you achieve better health.
Dr. Salama, I'm so uncomfortable with my foot problems. I can't ignore them anymore. What can you do to help me?
Foot problems are very common. Did you know that 98 out of 100 people are born with normal feet? But by adulthood, most suffer from foot disorders. It's also a fact that many whole body diseases, such as diabetes and gout, are commonly first detected in the foot. Many of the more common problems that may occur are ingrown toenails, bunions, corns, and calluses, arthritic conditions of a foot and ankle, or even fractures due to trauma or sport-related injuries. Many of these problems can be treated conservatively or surgically right here in a comfortable office environment.
Do you accept medical insurance?
Yes, I participate with most major health insurance plans like Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Medicare, John Hancock, and the like.
For information on a free initial consultation, call Dr. Salama at 274-0990.
I see you're worried. I got you 4 down.
Not the golf.
Not the golf.
I wish I knew what to do about retirement. I need help.
Do what I did, Mike. Talk to IDS.
IDS?
My IDS representative and you can set up a financial plan to help you reach all of your goals, including retirement.
An IDS financial plan. Excellent idea.
Meet the Tylers. As soon as they sell their house, a new life begins for them. Trouble is, they didn't list their house with Earl Keim Realty, so it's taking just a little longer than they hoped to get it sold. We could have helped the Tylers, but the Tylers like doing things the hard way. Earl Keim Realty makes selling houses easy. We're not saying they'll ever sell without us. It's only a question of when. Call Earl Keim Realty.
Campbell's Paint and Wallpaper has been providing quality decorating products and ideas since 1948. Come into Campbell's at decorating time and make your task into pleasure. Campbell's has Dearborn's nicest selection of wall covering, and most papers are available within 48 hours. Campbell's has a complete line of quality paints available in oil and latex and can recommend the right product to make the job easier. Campbell's also does custom picture framing. Experienced framers do all the work on the premises. Stop into Campbell's today, and remember, Campbell's paints always match.
Mr. Gerald DeGrazia of the city of Dearborn, the telecommunications department or whatever, and a very interesting man and a very fair man. Sort of like a principal of a high school. You can't win. You get it from both ways. Whenever you're in there in the center between two organizations, one group is going to think you're favoring the other group and vice versa. It's a no-win situation, but he does a marvelous job in that position, and we wish him all the luck. And in fact, we invited him back to talk more about citizens' point of view of cable television. Hey, for those of you that took time to view the show, I'd like to say thank you. For those of you that took time to drop me a card or a letter, I'd like to say thank you. But most of all, I'd like to thank you for just being you. Russ Gibb, at random.